Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining Donnie Does It for Thunderleaf Games. Just so glad to have everybody back this week for a little midweek hangout session, wind down, however you want to call it this week. So, welcome back. We're going to continue painting a little bit more on the Dragonborn bust that is coming along quite nicely. Real quick, as we get started, definitely want to give a shout out to Greg, who's producing for us today. We really appreciate that. So just let us know if any of the levels need adjusting. We're still kind of finalizing settings. So we appreciate that. And of course, join Greg and Ray a little later tonight on Rave Reviews at 9 o'clock tonight, which if you're like me, you've been having a lot of fun just chatting, hanging out, and watching Greg die a lot, which is just a blast. So just give us a shout out. Let us know how your Wednesday and week have been going and what you're working on. Yeah, let's see if I can give a pretty good view here of what we've got going on. Sometimes a little hard to get that quite in the right spot. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of really good work on the blues, which I'm sure you saw on the picture last week we posted. If not, definitely take a peek at that. But I think this week we're going to do a little cleanup and finalizing some on the reds. Clean up that yellow just a little bit better. It does not look great up close. But yeah, Binary, not any last minute painting for me. Very unusual. I could definitely add some more details to the stuff I'm bringing this weekend, but no, happy for once for what my army looks like. How's the knights? You working on those right now? Like, honestly, I'm so impressed with your knights. Like, not only have you painted them super quick, but like that's not a super easy color scheme either. Like the bones and kind of whites on panels, like that is a challenge. So I just realized, not being the producer of my stream here, I don't hear the music. I'm actually checking here. We'll just turn on my own stream here and listen to myself talk a little bit as well as the music. Some screens around a little bit so I can see things better. So what's your goal for the tournament this week, Chris? 2 wins, 3 wins? take the whole thing. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting. I'd like to win 3. I'd be perfectly happy with 2. I'll probably win 1. Get to see the awkward shake now that I've moved my camera a little bit. I really need to invest. They've got little I think they're actually for like nail polishes, but just buzzes your paint. You push down on the little pad and just shakes the crud out of paint. No, I keep sticking it in my cart and then not buying it for some reason. I guess I like the exercise. So I see off camera. So when I'm doing these fine details, I tend to tuck the model right up against my body. I'm trying to lock it into place. So just yell at me if I get off camera. One 100% what it is too. Like I'm certain it is the exact same little motor in there. Yellow's definitely looking a little brighter and cleaner on there. It's really hard to tell on the stream. Yellow is not an easy color to paint. And right after I painted it originally, I realized I should have done a small trick. you should paint pink underneath where you want to go yellow, and it helps it come through a little better, which I can't explain, but yellow over black is rough. I'm going to do a little work on the leather shoulder pads here just to make those look a little less flat. What I'm looking for is kind of a brush that's got an okay point on it, but not one I mind fiddling with a little bit, because I'm going to do a little stippling here. Sure, if I love this color. And let's start down in the back. Oh, I'm sure you can pretty closely work on him. Now that you got it set up, at least hopefully it's not too much womp work. Water that down a little bit more here. Yeah, not loving that color. We're gonna rethink that a little bit. Gonna do a little color mixing here. Just get some of it's kind of grayish brown that I've got. We're gonna mix that with the original brown and hopefully just make a little bit warmer tone for it. So a lot of water, just kind of keep those paints wet, mix them up, see what we get. Add just a little touch of red in there. Oh, not that red probably though. A little watery and really bright. Yeah, I'm liking that color a lot better. So if you haven't been watching on Mondays in a while, we've been doing some Humblewood, so a little D&D streaming. No Dragonborns in that campaign, but if you enjoy D&D 5th edition played poorly, we are here for you. And I just kid, of course. We may not always follow the rules exactly, but that's really not what we're there for. We just enjoy hanging out, goofing around a little bit, and we really focus more on the characters. Nonsense. Yeah, I feel bad we're missing a couple weeks in a row of our Friday chaos. We have our own personal game, and I actually don't DM that one as well for the moment. Me and Mike have tagged out there as well. We're kind of bad at tagging out because we're like, let's both run 2 at a time, and then yeah, just hard to focus sometimes and balance everything, but you know, we make it work. Definitely helping this leather armor out. Oh no, help! I'm way off stream like usual here. Let's see how I can fix that up a little bit. Come a little closer. this bust definitely makes me realize some of the things that I neglect on my regular miniatures. Because I'm like, it's too small. It really does make a difference. Let's see if I can get a good view of that shoulder pad. So you can kind of make out there the reds, just little touches of red. So now all of a sudden we've got a nice depth of color in the shoulder pad. I'll compare that to this one, which all of a sudden looks a lot flatter. And as always, I'll have a picture posted after the stream, get a little better close-up quality. It'll 100% be from the miniature's good side because he does have one eye that is substantially better than the other. See you, Binary. Oh, geez. That is a project right there, Adam Hydra. I really would like to. I will definitely need to get a better camera to look down on the models while we do this. Let's see if I can move my camera just a little bit, get a better view of where I'm actually painting. It is something we've been talking about. If we had some interest, and even maybe just internally, and do some little paint alongs, maybe where we all pick up the same miniature. It's a great way to learn too, just because everybody will have a different strength. Everybody will have something that's a little unique that they're trying. So what would you think you'd like to paint then, Madam Hydra? Robots, fantasy models, sci-fi? There's some really cool Star Wars miniatures out there for sure. That is one thing. I never got too into the game, but there's a whole miniature series out there, and yeah, there's a whole lot to do there. Yeah, it's a skirmish game and certainly a lot smaller scale than Warhammer for sure. And it was pretty good. I haven't really played it since it first came out. Thanks to my friend Jason. He kind of showed it to me. He started doing it. I don't see him here tonight, but I think it's Star Wars Legion, maybe. But of course, now with 3D printing, you can find a miniature of Star Wars anything. So, like, I have my basement set up to do war games. I've got a ginormous dining table, and like over a summer a couple years ago, we had been running D&D games remote for a couple of the college kids that we played with. And so I had my phone mounted above a TV, running electronic maps on the TV, and it worked okay. It wasn't great. Um, it'd be fun to do, but it is a lot of setup to properly light and film that. Be a lot of fun though. I'm pretty sure the fiance would kill me if I tried to set that up in the basement. It's fine. I have to have these lights strung wall to wall. It's cool. Speak of the devil, I'm in trouble. Hi, Jenny. Hope the day's going well over there. I mean, she already really has let me do that down there. It's got my models all on one wall and everything but mounting lights all over the ceiling. All right, so let's give a quick poll for chat here. Should we do the red highlights, clean up the red and add a little highlights there? We can do the cloth under the arms. I'm thinking we'll actually add a little texture and go with like a khaki kind of cloth look under there. Or should we try a marble base here? and I'll throw the model. Greg is dying in the producer room. Yeah, definitely a keeper, Madam Hydra. So yeah, do under here. So yeah, we can definitely do that. All right, let's give it a shot here. All right, we're gonna get the little brush. We're gonna get a nice khaki color here. We're gonna try for a little cross hatching under there. This is gonna go really poorly, and I just saying before the stream, I'm certain I'm at the point where I'm gonna ruin this model. That's just my own personal anxiety. So I really suspect this will be the moment. Okay, so we're gonna teach you the other standby model painting trick. Thumbnails make great test palettes. Oh, I'm back to whacking my camera. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a curse of most painters, miniature painters, I'm sure regular painters too, is like every job you do is always, well, it's a work in progress. And it's either like you just push it to the point where you're like, nope, I'm sure that it's ruined if I do anything more. And you're always still going to stare at it and be like, but I should do more. Oh, even better. I got a little paint on my finger, and now everywhere else. See those bright white marks on the red. Not white, but it'll be easy to fix at least. It's one thing. If you're gonna make that kind of mistake, put a light color on a dark color at least. Much easier to fix. So where are you at on the sandals? How are they coming? There probably should be an order of operations, and I mean there's probably a method to my own madness, but for the most part, it's 100% like that part excites me. I want to try this in that spot, and so I'll start there. And then I'll mess it up because I'll be like, why did I paint this huge, cool shaded thing? And now I've got to stick this bright green paintbrush in between that little gap. So usually you want to look at, let's get those deeper parts of the model where you know you're going to dink your brush on things before you do the rest. I tend to try and get a base layer down of everything, and then I go in and start doing all the detailing. Let's see if I can get that is exactly what it's called, is dry brushing. Um, but at the very beginning, it's the slap chop, or um, is kind of the technique where you put down just a layer of grays over the blacks and giving yourself those natural highlights. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. If you mean share their fur to add texture to the models, 100%. I think about half of my models have a hair hidden somewhere in them.
It tends to be worse when I'm building the models than when I'm painting them. It tends to get caught in the super glue or because I dropped the tiny little piece. I don't know if it really looks like texture or just sloppy. It's a little hard to tell. I don't know how well that comes across, unfortunately. What is the biggest Lego set you've built? Teddy hair and Egos. Yeah, I've given that one up. Just there's hair and everything. Ooh, that's a cool Lego set. I would very much enjoy having that. I just don't know. I absolutely hate building like miniature models. I don't know if that would extend to big scale Lego models. So I've just been very hesitant to invest in a big Lego model just because of that. Noticed a splotch of blue on some bone in there, so we'll fix that up too. So we definitely got some texture on the cloth there. It's not great. So, what is your biggest Lego set then? Greg is our producer. Which dealer's choice there. cool car. Take some of my splotches of white or khaki on the red, and just, I think we're about ready to just tear into this base here, which will be me getting paint all over myself and the model again. Yeah, I get that. The temptation to just press down the loud pedal a little too much. Yeah, I get that too. I recently got the opportunity to play an F1 simulator that like has like movement. You actually sit in the car cockpit, and the cars have a little bit more traction control and realistic braking. And yeah, realize that is a skill set. No matter how much I've played with a controller, does not translate. I am shocked, Madam Hydra. I will say that series is definitely a like it or love it or hate it kind of series. I do very much enjoy most of it. I have not seen all of them, and they started kind of getting a little too crazy and less about the cars. It's harder to enjoy them, but I do really enjoy the first couple. There is definitely a gap between those. I gotta imagine you go a little bit from like, how do we go from Miami car racing to like launching cars into space or something? I don't know where Gina Carino comes in, but it's definitely more in the ridiculous end of the series. See, the more shocking part is of the 7 movies you've seen, 3 of them are Fast and Furious movies. so I think we gotta admit it's gotta be more than 7, because you probably have to have seen all 9 Star Wars, right? Well, I guess technically, because you gotta count Rogue One, because it is in fact the best Star Wars movie. Throwing out some hot takes here on the Donnie Does It today. Like, I do love the original 3s, but yeah, I think it's just because it's a standalone movie. So, like, there's no contingency on anything else. They just tell a cool Star Wars story. And did tie it in super well. Those ones are very good as well. So where do you stand on the new trilogy? I will say I enjoyed the first of the new trilogy quite a bit. They did kind of fade off a little bit for me. I didn't hate them though. Like, some people are just violently against them, but I'm not there. I don't know that they really held up the Star Wars universe super well. Kind of made it feel a lot smaller. And like, come on, what happened that the rebellion screwed it all up in like 10 years, it felt like. I will say part of the terrible part of The Last Jedi is like it riffs off a story that was already written and they just did it even worse. Like, Palpatine coming back is already a whole series. And yeah. What's up, Sunshine? Good to see you. Been missing you. Haven't seen you in rave reviews in a couple weeks, or a couple times, I guess. Greg desperately needs you. I kind of feel like that could be applied to Carrie Fisher as well. She would probably make a great general, but terrible politician. Oh, my horn just got a little shorter. How's your Wednesday, sunshine? Home from the commute, I assume. Now, are you planning on working remote Friday, sunshine, or taking the day off, or just cutting out early? Binary was in here earlier. We were talking about the Warhammer tournament this weekend. So, Sunshine, Binary, and I all kind of play some competitive Warhammer. And we have a big tournament this weekend. An exciting 2-day affair. Where Sunshine here is carrying the team. Try not to name drop anybody. Tells you a lot about how my brain works right there, is that I see you all's usernames and I'm just like, that is Mike. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing as well. I'm working remote. I told my team at work, kind of taking the day off, but there's always little things I'll take care of. And but mostly just looking to avoid that commute. Have any last minute painting you're doing for the weekend? Binary was indicating he's still finishing up a little bit, and I've seen he's looking pretty good though. All right, so we're doing this marble technique I saw, and we're just basically doing a gray. Then we're gonna do a heavy black shade over that. After that, we're gonna start stippling in some lighter grays into a white. Then we're gonna add some kind of black lines to give that marble coloring effect. If this is your first time tuning in with us, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow. We've got a lot of great shows. Even if you're not interested in painting as much, we try and give a couple different types of content. Later tonight, we've got rave reviews, and you'll be able to watch us do a little video game streaming with Dark Souls, and Greg and Ray kind of hang out and work their way through the original Dark Souls game, something I definitely don't have the patience for, but it's definitely been enjoyable to watch. On Mondays, we've got our what we call our flagship stream, which is our tabletop RPG night. Currently, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, playing some Humblewood, which has been very fun. We've just finished up our Cyberpunk Chapter 1. We'll be coming back to that in a couple weeks. Greg has also been doing some very cool tutorials on how he thinks about his characters, some great advice for people trying to make more nuanced characters, how you approach combat in RPG games. And he's gonna have some more new stuff coming out Friday. I mean, you did pretty good with it last GT, so makes sense. Run that list again. See if you can hit a couple better, one better opponent, and maybe one less mistake. You know, on the table. Definitely, you're very close. I've ignored for about an hour now, stretching at all. So try and keep your posture better than I do, and stretch those backs as you paint. I've got to let that base dry for a little bit now. So that's probably silly of me to have done that as early as I did. That would have been a good step to end on. But it is very damp, so I don't really want to touch it a whole lot. So let's see how much you can see there. So we've got the gray, and you can really see how there's black, liquidy kind of color all over the base. Darkening it up. Shade is always fun because I feel like you do a good job, paint real carefully, and then mess it up intentionally. Oh, freely admitted that I do not properly think through what I'm doing at all. So we'll share some other miniatures here on the table. Maybe I'll even take a second and finish the last arm and leg here of this is my favorite little D&D character I've played is Lappin. And he has been sitting on my table now, almost finished, for a ridiculously long amount of time. Let's do a little work on him real quick. Why not? So he has been a unique challenge as I'm trying to give the impression of fur. I think we'll probably only have probably one more week maybe on this bust. And then we'll have to start a new project. That was about the most awkward way I think I could have tried to hold that. Eventually, you realize your wrist doesn't keep twisting, so maybe just move the model. So Ray reviews tonight. Again, just a quick reminder here at the end of stream. Definitely come join us. I have really been enjoying just hanging out and chatting with people, and it's been a real good way to explore a very challenging game without any of the frustration for myself. Well, that's definitely good. So I do have a model holder. I never use it. Mostly because it's not quite big enough for the base I'm using here. So it also tends to be in my way a lot, but for little small models, it can be helped. Certainly, if you're trying to really hold steady, it definitely helps. So what do we have on deck for Dark Souls tonight, Greg? I can't lie, I fell asleep before the end last time. I am an early bird, and sitting watching TV in the dark gets a little tired. I mean, a lot of the bosses you've been playing seem pretty slow. I mean, it's easy for me to say that watching, but I can't imagine a fast boss in that game. Like it's not hard enough. Well, good luck. I will be cheering for you. Like, I definitely get emotionally invested at certain points. Like, when you were fighting the spider boss, there was one time where you had her like within one hit and you were out of the Estus potions, and it was like so close, and then it didn't make it. I was on the edge of my seat. Yeah, that was a moment there. I was like, this is the end of Dark Souls. What are we playing next? You can definitely see the fur texture there on the leg. Yeah, any controller recommendations out there? I've definitely been looking at a new one. Mine is got some sticky buttons, connectivity issues. It's definitely looking at the elites, and yeah, you're not wrong. They are expensive. I of course was looking at the ones with all the swappable joysticks, and I just don't know that I really need it. I don't play that many console controller games, but y'all done any racing games? So that's where I use it a lot. Is I'll play like the F1 racing games, and that is one thing. Like I don't do any of the shifting and stuff because the controller is not super sensitive. But yeah, I mean, if it's a little easier to control those the triggers, that might be the argument I need. know why I decided, today's the day I'm finally going to do his eyes, but we'll see how this goes. So I always feel like for most shooters, like mouse and keyboard's way to go. Suppose it depends on the shooter too. Like, I think a lot of people play Call of Duty with the controller, but like Counter-Strike likes games, Valorant, which is one I do play, is I think you would be just obliterated. All right. Well, I think we're coming to that point where we usually wrap up at about an hour and a half. So, main model, I think, is coming along very nicely. We've got the armor pretty much wrapped up on the shoulder pads, the scales, got the shirt underneath with a little texture. We'll get the base finished up next time. Decide exactly what I wanted to do on the red and touch up a couple quick spots. But we're getting really close. Pretty happy with where it's come out. Yeah, 3 games is definitely not enough there, but all right. Well, thank you all for joining me again on a Wednesday here. We hope you enjoy a little wind down, and we hope to see you again later tonight at 9 o'clock with rave reviews. So please click those likes, subscribes, throw a comment in the video. That we really appreciate all that. And we'll talk to you later. Have a great rest of your week, everybody.